So, you've written this awesome, fantastic, wonderfully crafted story, and you want to share it with the world, and hold up, don't forget to edit. Even if you want to get someone else to edit your work for you, there are some things you need to take care of. First, set your manuscript aside. This can be for a week or even a few months. You want to come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes and a different mindset. When you come back to your manuscript the first time, you want to look at it as a reader. How is the pacing? Does the dialogue make sense? Are the characters relatable? While going through your manuscript, you'll want to have some tools handy, depending on how you like to edit. I personally like to do this first edit with a hard copy. I get 1 or 2 of my favorite pens and a highlighter. I usually assign each of these a specific task. For example, one pen might be for minor corrections and another for making notes. My highlighter I usually use for passages and dialogue that I want to rework in my next draft. Another thing that I do during this edit is read my writing aloud. It helps me to catch any awkward phrasing, especially within the dialogue. If it doesn't read naturally when spoken, it probably needs a little work. It also helps me find sections that might be a little too wordy and pinpoint things that need to be cut out. So after this first edit, I go back to my computer and make my changes. If my initial draft was on written paper, it actually makes this step a little easier, and again, it's all about preference. While looking over my notes and making corrections, I go through the manuscript this time from an editor's perspective, keeping my eye out for any typos or spelling mistakes and reworking sections that I highlighted in my first draft. This second round takes a little more time because sometimes my notes on my first draft were to, for example, rework an entire scene or add in more information, say regarding a certain character. However, because I approached my first edit as a reader, I was able to pinpoint where certain areas of my work were lacking in my rough draft. That is why a lot of authors recommend that to get better at writing, you should read a lot of books. Because the truth is, if you read, you know what makes a good book good. Always trust your inner reader. They will rarely lead you astray. Finally, I go over my edits one last time. This time, I put all my hats on. My writing hat, my reader hat, and my editor hat. In this third approach, I sometimes will again set my manuscript aside for a few days, usually a week, and then dive back into it. Here I clean things up, go over any notes, and make sure whatever changes I made fit the manuscript. This final edit is mainly to double check that I didn't miss anything the first 2 times, and to make sure that I am 100% ready to share my manuscript with an editor, publisher, literary agent, or even just a friend. Once that's complete, and I think I've done all that I can, I pass my manuscript on. A bonus tip for anyone who likes to edit hard copies: invest in good pens. They don't have to be overly expensive, but it really sucks when your pen runs out of ink while you're trying to edit. Another thing that I recommend is to use sticky notes so that your manuscript isn't completely plastered in pen scribbles. It keeps things a little more organized, and you can color code them the same way you would when using a pen or a highlighter. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you have any of your own editing tips to share, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to see them. Okay, bye!